Hello everyone. In this lecture, we will see cloud computing technologies. So previously we have seen what is mean by cloud computing. So there are certain technologies that are working behind the cloud computing platforms, making cloud computing flexible, reliable and usable. So there are some technologies. So it is not there like only one cloud computing is having one definition and we can say it works on that definition only. So it is a very huge and broad area. So it should be usable by all types of users. It should be flexible. It should be reliable. So for that, one has to use these technologies so that the cloud platform or service providers are there. So that service provider have to consider these things while providing their cloud or while providing their services to the customers. So the technologies are, first one is virtualization, second one is service oriented architecture, that is SOA, next is grid computing, and fourth one is utility computing. We will see one by one in detail. So virtualization is a technique which allows to share single physical instance of an application or resource among multiple organizations or tenants. It does so by assigning a logical name to a physical resource and providing a pointer to that physical resource when demanded. Like the definition is self-explanatory. So virtualization is a technique where one has to share the physical instance, single physical instance, and uh, it should be treated like there are multiple uh, logical instances are present for that single physical instance. Lots of applications are there, or example we can say VMware software is there. By using that software, we can see or we can install PC inside another PC. So that physical PC consists of memory. That memory we have to use for the logical PC, and we can perform our operations or the things which like if we want to install the softwares, if we want to perform some operations onto the softwares. So all these things are possible by the technique virtualization. What we have to do is we have to create a virtual world. That world is actually not present there, but we have to uh, treat that thing like it is present there. And the physical resources, and there is one pointer in the sense the thing which can uh, which is used to access the logical resources whenever the user wants it. So here is one diagram. Only one virtual infrastructure is there. That infrastructure consists of, here is in this diagram, three virtual machines are developed by using that virtual infrastructure. All contains application and operating system. So it is actually not present, but we have to treat it like it is present, so that what we can do, we can run multiple applications uh, by using these virtual machines. So three virtual machines are there. We can perform various tasks by using these three virtual machines. These machines uses some memory from the physical machine wherever we are doing, or we are providing this concept virtualization. So it will use network and storage of the physical instance or the physical machine which we are using, and we are creating one virtual infrastructure, and under that we are installing number of machines onto the virtual infrastructure. Again, that machine contains application and operating system into it, so that basic advantage of it as it does not require actual machines, number of machines you use. uh, it will reduce the cost of the system. Like suppose any system needs 5 machines, so it is possible to use or possible to install uh, 5 machines on one machine, so that it will reduce the cost. Might be some complexity is there, but by taking technical assistance, or by taking proper information, we can avoid that complexity also. So this is the concept known as virtualization, which is used generally in cloud computing, so that the things like software as a service or infrastructure as a service, the cloud service provider, whenever they are using this type of deployment models, so they are using the concept virtualization, because it is not always possible that everything should be present with them, or it is quite difficult also to manage the whole hardware and number of machines. Machines are also there, so by using virtualization concept we can minimize the efforts, and we can efficiently work on it also. Second type is second type of technology is service oriented architecture. So service oriented architecture helps to use application as a service for other applications, regardless of type of vendor, product or technology. Therefore, it is possible to exchange of data between applications on of different vendors without additional programming or making changes to services. So what is actually SOA is? SOA is a kind of agreement or set of rules are there, which the which the user or the service provider, they have to follow the same, so that the system can run efficiently and user can get benefit from that services also. So in service oriented architecture, we can have number of applications, and that applications can be used between any user or used by any users. They can generate their own data, they can even exchange the data between different applications, and it will not check whether who is the vendor, what is the product, or what are the technologies used. All these things are not matters here. And uh, what they can do, they can use these agreements, or they can use that protocols, and by using that they can use they in the sense user can use the services provided by different service providers under uh, one thing, we can say, that is known as service oriented architecture. Now the thing here is the diagram, it is there. See, different types of services are there by service server publishing tier, in which catalog services are there, globe services are there, map services are there, locator services are there. And one has to use, means one can use mobile applications, one can use 2D 3D applications, one can use business applications. And by using these various applications, user can go for any type of services, but uh, without additional programming or making changes to the services, because there are rules, there are set of protocols defined by service oriented architecture, so that one cannot change their uh, one cannot one cannot change their services. And by doing so, they can use different services provided by server publishing tier. these things can be accessed or these things can be managed by the desktop authoring tier. So within these protocols, security is also concerned, reliability is also concerned. So by considering all these things, the set of rules are defined, and one or user has to use or user has to follow the SOA while accessing the data or the cloud by cloud service provider. Next is grid computing. Grid computing refers to distributed computing in which group of computers from multiple locations are connected with each other to achieve common objective. These computer resources are heterogeneous and geographically dispersed. Grid computing breaks complex tasks into smaller pieces. These smaller pieces are distributed to CPUs that resides within the grid. Now the thing with grid computing is, we can see the diagram here. Grid computing refers to distributed computing. So we are having here distributed architecture of various components, like we are having database, we are having PCs, we are having laptops, we are having supercomputers, but they are all are connected to one another to, to achieve a common objective. So these resources are working for the same purpose, though they are at different positions or different locations. They are having the same purpose, and by using grid computing, one can break the complex task into smaller pieces. Like database is doing their own task, laptops are doing their own task. Means laptop in the sense there might be some applications, in PCs there might be some applications, they are doing their own tasks. So everyone is doing their task, but by segregating or by combining these tasks, they all have to achieve one common objective or one common purpose, so that uh, they can achieve the thing they whatever they want. They, in the sense, user who is going to use this kind of computing, or the service providers who are going to provide their service by using grid computing. So it is, as I said before, it is not possible for any service provider to collect all hardware in one place and to manage the things, because number of peoples are there, number of customers are there, and dynamically they can request for any data. They might store large amount of data onto the cloud. They might access that data anytime they want. So it is not always possible to keep all the hardware in one place. So by using grid computing, what we can do, someone might have database, someone might have laptop, someone might have supercomputer, someone might have data centers present with them. So one has to compile all these things, one has to treat like all these things are present in one position, in one location, so that it is accessible or it is usable to the user who is going to use it. And the best part of grid computing is tasks are divided into smaller tasks. So the thing is, where there comes any problem, so it should be resolved within a minimum time, because the different tasks are running at different positions. Sometimes it might happen that to compile all these things, it's also a big task, but it is managed, grid computing is managed in a such a way that all these things are reliable, or all these things are easy to handle, easy to use. So these smaller pieces are again distributed to CPUs that resides within the grid. So all these things are resides in the sense they are kept in a grid, so that after completion of first task, second task may start. After completion of second task, third may start. Likewise, all the things happen, and according to that, all the uh, all the things like whatever the different uh, these databases, PCs, laptops, supercomputers are there. So these are the things we can say. if they are kept different from one another also, they are running or they are uh, working for the same objective or common objective. So this is the best part in grid computing, we can say. The major thing is to manage all these things, and there should not be any thing like user has to wait for something, or user the things are not easy to handle for the users. So one has to, or cloud provider has to take care of all these things. Next one is utility computing. So utility computing is based on pay-per-use mode. It offers computational resources on demand as a metered service. Cloud computing, grid computing, and managed IT services are based on the concept of utility computing. So the thing is, before this, we have seen that there are infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, software as a service. So in utility computing, what the user has to do is, user can request for any software, user can request for any infrastructure, and these things are metered. Like once you started with it, uh, you have to pay per your use basis, whatever the amount of data, whatever the amount of work you have done with the infrastructure or software as or platform. Different applications are there, different security systems are there. So on the basis of that, whatever you are using while running your application or while creating your data, so one has to pay on the basis of that only. So this is known as utility computing. There are different applications, there are different things present over there, and one has to pay for what they have used. So this is known as utility computing. Basically, the cloud computing works on it only. So these are some technologies which user or the system provider, cloud provider have to use or to consider, so that the cloud computing should be flexible, it should be easily accessible by the user, it should be scalable, it should be automatically upgraded. So by using all these type of technologies, one can achieve all these things. Thank you.